Hi guys, welcome back to the channel and welcome to another video. So yeah, this is just going to be a very quick video. I've just received this from Amazon Germany, and the reason why I've gotten this from Amazon Germany is because it contains a few movies that, as it stands, are only really available to get on Blu-ray in Germany and maybe a few other countries. There's movies in here that I love. I've seen all of these movies, but I just don't own them in my collection because we just don't have like a UK Blu-ray release of them, so I opted to get all of them from Germany. So yeah, I'm just going to show you what I've picked up. So yeah, let's just get straight into it. So the first item that I picked up was the Rush Hour trilogy, and yeah, these are just classic movies for me. I remember when they came out, I was about 10 or 11 years old, and yeah, I just absolutely love them. Jackie Chan's great in them. Chris Tucker is hilarious. They just make a great pair. And yeah, for some reason you can get the first movie and the third one on Blu-ray here in the UK, but you just can't get the second one. And the second one is my personal favourite, and that's the one I'd want the most on Blu-ray. So I opted just to get this trilogy of all three of them, just have them all together in one release. So yeah, that is the Rush Hour trilogy. Next up, we have a movie that I have been dying to get a Blu-ray release here in the UK. It doesn't even have a DVD release, and I know I'm not alone in wanting a good quality release of this movie. I know my good friend Andy from Forgotten World of Movies and Nige from Rock God 2004. We all want like a really good release of this movie, but as it stands, this will do for now, and it is Pacific Heights, starring Michael Keaton. And yeah, this is just a classic sort of early 90s thriller. It also stars Matthew Modine and Melanie Griffith. They play this couple who live in this very nice house in the Pacific Heights area of San Francisco. But they fall under some kind of financial hard times, and they decide to rent out one of the rooms in this house. And the person who answers the ad is the character played by Michael Keaton. And he just ends up being the tenant from hell, and it just kind of escalates from there, and they start to realise that he isn't who he seems. He's a bit of a con man, he's got a bit of a dark past, but yeah, it's just a fantastic movie, and it's just an absolute crying shame that we don't have like maybe like a boutique release of this here in the UK, because I feel like it would just be amazing. I've heard the quality of this Blu-ray is not great, but you know, we don't even have a DVD release of this movie here, so you know, this has got to be better than nothing. But yeah, that is Pacific Heights. Next up, we have a Sylvester Stallone movie from the 1980s, and we have Over the Top. So yeah, this is a movie I saw for the first time maybe about 5 or 6 years ago when it was on Netflix, but I think Netflix have since taken it down, as streaming services tend to do. And again, yeah, we just don't have like a Blu-ray release of this here in the UK. But this is such a fun movie. It's very, very cheesy, very 80s. It's basically like the arm wrestling version of Rocky. But I just have such fun with it. Sly's just in the prime of his life in this movie. Yeah, like I said, it's very cheesy. It's got a good soundtrack. I really like the opening song. I think it's called In This Country. You've also got The Winner Takes It All by Sammy Hagar. You just got a lot of like just great rock songs in this movie, and yeah, it's cheesy, it's very 80s, it's very of its time, but you know, it's just classic Stallone, and yeah, I'm looking forward to rewatching it. So yeah, that is Over the Top. Next up, we have Black Rain. Now, admittedly, I do actually own this movie on DVD, but I tried to rewatch the DVD of this not too long ago, and the quality is just awful. When you try and watch this movie on modern televisions, especially like 4K televisions, you get it in like proper letterbox format, so you get black bars on the sides and across the top and the bottom, so you're basically just watching like a tiny little image in the middle of your screen, and it's just unwatchable. So I gave up rewatching the movie and decided to just get it on Blu-ray. I haven't actually seen this movie for a very long time. I think the last time I watched it was probably when I was a teenager, and admittedly, I don't remember liking it that much, but I've always wanted to give it another go because I know it does have a bit of a cult following with people. But yeah, I'm looking forward to rewatching it, but that is Black Rain. Next up, we have a John Carpenter movie, and I can't believe it has taken me this long to pick up this movie because I am just a huge fan of John Carpenter, and I'm a huge fan of this movie. It's one of his most underrated, but I've been waiting for a long time to maybe get like a boutique release of this movie. I feel like Arrow Video could do such a good job with it, but it just doesn't seem like it's ever going to happen, so I gave up waiting and decided to get the German release, and that is for In the Mouth of Madness. So yeah, this is probably one of John Carpenter's lesser known films. It's one of his more recent films. Well, I say recent, it's almost 30 years old, this movie, but it's just such an underrated film. It's very weird. It's got a more of a psychological vibe compared to the rest of his movies. It's a bit ambiguous with its story, so it won't be for everyone, this movie, but I just absolutely love it. It's just classic John Carpenter for me, and yeah, like I said, it's just one of his most underrated, and yeah, I've seen it many times, but I'm glad to finally have it in the collection. But that is In the Mouth of Madness. And then the last Blu-ray that we have is a movie called Rush. So this is probably the least known out of all of these movies that I've picked up. But this is a movie that came out in the early 90s, I think maybe 1991, and it stars Jason Patric and Jennifer Jason Leigh. And they play two cops who have to go undercover and sort of get in with this sort of drug dealing crowd, and to maintain their cover, they have to basically start dealing drugs, taking drugs, and just really, getting into the whole thing. And it starts to play havoc on their lives. It starts to sort of ruin their careers, their personal lives, not to mention their health. And it just kind of escalates from there. And I believe it's based on a true story. And I think Imprint released this movie in like a big box set of neo-noir movies, and I've always wanted to get that box set, but it's just way too pricey for me. But I just decided to get this German release of it. It's a fantastic movie. Again, very underrated, but worth checking out. And Jason Patric is absolutely fantastic in it. But yeah, that is Rush. So there you go, guys. Those are just a few movies that I've picked up from Amazon Germany. Really hope you've enjoyed the video. Let me know in the comments below if you've seen any of these movies. Do you have any of these movies on Blu-ray? I would love to hear your thoughts on it. But until then, I will leave it there. So thanks again for watching, guys, and take care.